Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I am All in Crypto, and today we're going to talk about 3 altcoins with huge potential. These are 3 of my favorite altcoins. They're altcoins that I have spoken about on the channel previously, but these 3 altcoins I think have absolutely massive potential. I personally own them. You guys know we got back into the cryptocurrency market at the start of the year after getting out of it for 2022 when we saw more downside ahead. And ultimately, these are 3 altcoins that I own and have continued to buy on pullbacks that you should know about. So without further ado, guys, I want to keep this short and sweet. We're going to look at the altcoins, a little bit about the altcoins, why I think they're such a big deal. We'll reference the price and where it's at on each and every one of them. And then I will love and leave you. We'll try and keep this video as short and sweet as possible, but really get all the information out that you guys need about these 3 interesting altcoins. So the third altcoin, or the first, altcoin that we're going to talk about today is Chainlink. So many people are sleeping on Chainlink and don't quite understand why it is such a big deal. So I will explain that to you, and then we're going to look at some recent news coming out from Chainlink in regards to them partnering with Swift. The majority of money that transfers around the world is done through Swift, and actually, not only can Chainlink help and facilitate that, but we're moving towards a world where not just fiat is transferred, but assets. These assets are going to need real-world price data. Blockchain has an inherent problem that it can get on-chain data, but cannot access data elsewhere. This is what Chainlink was born to do. This is where it came about. The DeFi summer, I remember Ethereum's DeFi summer, was only facilitated, and most of DeFi and most ecosystems use and utilize Chainlink for price feeds. And it's very important. The idea of decentralized, trustable, and verifiable data is a massive use case. And most people out there, I guarantee, don't own Chainlink. Now, you guys can own whatever you want. This is not financial advice. But when I see a cryptocurrency with such a vast use case that is dominating the Oracle space, and it's called an Oracle for a reason. You know, you think about an Oracle, it's somebody you go to for information. It just completely excites me. And Chainlink today is pretty much at lows. And I do think it's got an extremely bright future. Recently, Chainlink partnered with Swift. So far, the transaction value enabled by Chainlink is nearly $8 trillion. This is an undervalued crypto, ladies and gentlemen. It has a real world use case in regards to taking data and making it accessible, trustable, and verifiable to many of the blockchains that you have out there. This is why Chainlink is partnered with pretty much the entire Ethereum DeFi space. Pretty much every DeFi space on every chain partners with Chainlink. It is literally the dominant individual solving this colossal use case. This is what I look for when I look for a cryptocurrency, real world uses. And Chainlink is actually one of the most used, and doesn't get the credit for it, cryptocurrencies that we have. I would rank it in the top 5. You guys know that it's pretty much partnered with everybody. Recently, they came out and partnered with Swift. Swift explores blockchain interoperability to remove friction from tokenized asset settlements. So we heard Larry Fink at the start of the year. The next blockchain that we're going to talk about is what could actually tokenize these assets potentially. We heard from Larry Fink at the start of the year that everything is going to be tokenized. He spoke about how revolutionary the ETF market was and said the next generational step for markets is tokenization. Chainlink is going to be what makes these tokenized assets verifiable and trustable in regards to the price and verifiability of them. So Chainlink is absolutely massive. If you look at Chainlink's price today, guys, it's pretty much at the market lows. You guys know that we do fundamentally assess that there was a turn that took place in November for the stock market. Crypto was lagging, and ultimately we think there's a broader uptrend in place, despite all the uncertainty with regulatory clarity that's going on at the moment. So Chainlink is still at a low price. This is something I own. This is something I've been buying on dips really since the start of the year, and I have a long-term vision for Chainlink. It is still today, guys, a whopping 88% down from its all-time highs at $52. But let me know your thoughts on Chainlink in the comment section. That is altcoin number 1. The next altcoin in keeping with tokenization and actually the way that the world is moving towards, this could be the very blockchain that, or one of a few blockchains, I believe, that will actually be responsible for tokenizing assets. And actually, not just that in terms of a use case, but providing a whole financial framework around these tokenized assets like the lending and borrowing markets, so on and so forth, and also intrinsic crypto specific problems and use cases that need to be solved. We have seen Algorand do exceptionally well. Algorand is a better Ethereum, in my opinion. It is EVM compatible. You have a block time of 3.5 seconds. You have the current activity at 8 transactions per second. However, we interviewed John Wood, who is part of the Algorand team, certainly looking to promote Algorand. We interviewed John Wood, and they can currently process the same amount of transactions as Visa, and actually on a testnet have done significantly more than that. It is exceptionally cheap to use Algorand at 0.001 cent a transaction. I transfer funds on Ethereum all the time. It's insanely expensive and thus takes out a large share of the market. Addresses currently sit at 30.9 million. This is a blockchain that I think in regards to price is suffering from potentially lack of community and interest. But if people only realize what Algorand was and what it was capable of, it is one of the most far ahead, sufficient, brilliant layer ones that there is in the entire crypto space in regards to its capabilities. And not only that, one reason that I was very interested in Algorand was because of Silvio. Silvio is a Turing Award-winning MIT professor who specializes in cryptography. This is the guy that you would want to run a blockchain project and to be the founder of. You know, we know that Algorand has recently been mentioned in the SEC lawsuit. Algorand tick many boxes in terms of compliance. They have some amazing partnerships like the Bank of Italy, who are running bonds, I believe, on top of Algorand. They are extremely well positioned. They were recently at a payments, see if I can find this, talk recently. You know, I think Algorand is one of the chosen blockchains. And ultimately, I think it's going to do exceptionally well. You know, state proofs are something that's very interesting. This could be the answer to interoperability. Again, Silvio Macali working his magic. Silvio has developed ZKs, many of the things that are common practice in the crypto space. But Algorand is absolutely a blockchain that you should not be sleeping on. I think in regards to price, it's suffering from a lack of interest and a lack of buyers. But I do think the tides will turn for Algorand eventually. And Algorand is the blockchain that is currently, let's find Algorand, at new lows of this current market. So Algorand hasn't really exited a bear market yet, whereas we think a lot of other cryptocurrencies have. You can see Algorand is pretty much at all-time lows, guys. What you decide to do in regards to buying or whatever it is in regards to Algorand is really nothing to do with me. This is where Algorand's currently sat, pretty much at lows. It's been an absolutely brutal one. It is still today, we take this wick, a whopping 95% down. You know, and Algorand is actually a bag that I own that is under water at the moment. But this is a blockchain I've got long-term beliefs in. And ultimately, I think Algorand will do very well eventually. There's just got to be a sort of trend shift towards it. Let's talk about the third and final altcoin, which is simply brilliant. So we've spoken about Chainlink, which solves a real-world use case. We've spoken about Algorand, which solves multiple real-world use cases, but actually could be what institutions, corporations, systems choose to build on top of it. Already has enterprise institutions building on top of it. It's very well strategically placed. They run courses at MIT. We know there's an overzealous regulator called Gary Gensler who has mentioned Algorand as a security. However, I do think Algorand will prevail, like the entire crypto industry, on the back end of all of this. And we're now going to move on to another. So this is a layer one Algorand. Chainlink is, would you call it a layer one? Yeah, I think you probably, of sorts. It's an enabler for data. decentralized trustable data, which is a massive use case. The next altcoin that we're going to talk about is indeed a layer 0. And that, of course, is Polkadot. Polkadot is nothing short of genius. Created by Gavin Wood, Polkadot is one of my favorite blockchains. In fact, in regards to a few things, I'd say it's my favorite. Hard to say. I've got a couple. It's very hard for me to tell you which blockchain is my absolute favorite, but just know that Polkadot is well and truly up there. Polkadot have done things completely differently to your architectural layer 1. So you had Ethereum that came out of Bitcoin. Polkadot has evolved and has actually gone, instead of actually facilitating smart contracts, let's focus on the security and scalability, fee structure, a number of things. Let's focus on that, building that, and then facilitating the tools for people to build on top of this secure base that we have. This is a model that we are seeing adopted broadly. If you look at Ethereum, for example, layer 2s, because the underlying layer 1 can't scale, are doing a similar thing to what Polkadot's doing with its parachains. Let's go over to features, technology. This is Polkadot in a nutshell. So instead of having a blockchain where you have people kind of build on top of it, but in the forms of dApps and applications, Polkadot has facilitated individuals to come along to plug into their underlying relay node, or relay chain, and to gain all the benefits from it, like billions of dollars of security, like scalability, like throughput, like interoperability with the other blockchains in its ecosystem, and is actually allowing people to build layer 1s on top of it that can be case specific. Again, Ethereum with layer 2s has kind of followed suit. You've got Cosmos Hub with their shared security that's doing a similar thing. Polkadot is really a special blockchain, and these guys have some amazing things already built. In regards to Polkadot, they usually top in terms of GitHub commits on a week in, week out basis. The parachains that they have, so these guys here that are built on top of it, of which there are, I think, 40 plus parachains. Some of these parachains have partners with the likes of Sony, Mitsubishi, Nintendo, Deloitte, the largest accounting firm in the world. You name it. These blockchains that you can think of as independent layer 1s, Ethereum competitors in many ways, that are built on top of Polkadot, all depend on the relay chain and have a vested interest and have to own DOT in order to partake in this ecosystem. And this is an ecosystem that is only just getting started. One thing you'll notice with Polkadot and Chainlink is they weren't mentioned as securities by the SEC and have actually somewhat been deemed software. And this is a blockchain that I think is only getting started, has a long way to go. Their model of just doing things simply differently is absolutely, it's what I love to see in the blockchain space. I love difference. DeFi has become very stagnated in regards to the fact that people are just, it's already been done on Ethereum, right? Okay, yeah, your chain's faster or this or that. Whereas when I see something, a blockchain, a layer 1, a layer 0, come along and do something different, it really catches my eye. And I actually think that Polkadot and its ecosystem are so underappreciated and undervalued in regards to the prospect of where it could get to. Again, I do think enterprises are likely going to build on Polkadot or partner with Polkadot. And it was actually built with, in some regards, that way in mind. Their fee structure is simply amazing. This is a blockchain that you absolutely shouldn't be sleeping on. I want to go over to the price of Polkadot. Again, what you'll notice is it's at a real low point here. So there's lots going on with the market. It's been a particularly brutal week. But Polkadot is a blockchain that I do think people shouldn't sleep on. Please, if you want to do more diving into any of these ecosystems, let me know in the comment section whether you want, an entire video explaining what they are, how they all work, and so on and so forth. We're more than capable of doing that. So the blockchains that we've mentioned are, of course, Chainlink, the data for blockchains. This is from taking real world into the blockchain. Algorand, which we think is one of the most impressive layer 1s out there. And of course, Chainlink, which is, Polkadot, which is doing a sensational, interesting job with their layer 0 approach. And actually, we're seeing a real uptick and demand for Polkadot in regards to building it and some of the layer ones that are built on top of it. So on that note, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. They are 3 altcoins that I have very high hopes for, think have huge potential moving forwards, and ultimately am an investor in. What you guys decide to invest in or do with your own money is entirely up to you. We are not financial advisors. These are just 3 altcoins I think you should all keep an eye on. See you in the next one, guys. A like and a comment is always appreciated. And if you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. We release daily cryptocurrency market videos every single day. See you in the next one, guys.